Hello and welcome back to Asian Cinema Season 2 and another Jackie Chan film. After, I guess, I'm probably going to order this Police Story, then this video, which is, of course, Police Story 2. Is it? Yeah, okay. The covers look very similar. I was just seeing if I pulled the right one out of the box set. So, Police Story 2 picks up right where the first one left off, pretty much, where Jackie has kind of taken down this drug boss and kind of saved the day. And then we go into the fallout of that, which is a really cool opening sequence in this film where we cut between what seems to be this big kind of operation happening on the highway with all these trucks in unison kind of driving down the highway, and a police cop who notices them and kind of goes down after them on his motorcycle. While we're seeing that sequence, which is whoa, what's this sting? What's the operation going on? What's going to happen with this police officer? Is he going to get killed? What's the sinister motives behind this kind of very cinematic staging of these trucks going down the highway, all in unison in the same trucks? And we cut from that sequence back and forth to the police station, and we have the same characters from the first movie, which is really good. I like that there was that continuity, because sometimes you don't know with these films if they're just going to completely disregard it and just call it Police Story 2, and it's just like another adventure. But it's very much, flows with the first film. And we have Jackie Chan's boss, along with his other boss, who's kind of like the second boss, who kind of is a really fun character. I don't think I mentioned him in the first video for the original Police Story. Really great comedic timing on that guy. I don't know the actor's name or the character's name, but he's not the boss of Jackie Chan. He's kind of the second boss, the vice boss, I guess you could say. But in this film, you see that the main boss has another boss. There's always a bigger boss. But regardless, the second boss, he kind of tries to smooth everything out between Jackie and the big boss kind of thing, and he's great. He's got such good comedic timing, and is a real highlight of these films as far as the secondary characters go. But they're talking about how you've caused so much destruction in that mall from the first movie, and we need to kind of take action and stuff. And then Jackie's like, well, oh no, wait, no, that doesn't happen immediately. I can't actually remember what exactly happens, but he gets kind of demoted at first to being a traffic cop. And that's the great reveal of the opening sequence. We cut to the guy on the police motorcycle, and it's Jackie, and he's flagged down all these trucks, and it turns out there's nothing going on, there's nothing kind of illicit happening, but he's just it's almost like he's reaching above his station. He's trying to make it a big sting in his head, but really he's just stopping these trucks that are just maybe speeding a little bit. So he gets kind of relegated and kind of demoted to the spot that he was almost parodying in the first film. In the first film, when he kind of makes his big kind of arrest of the boss with all the money, he kind of gets used as the poster boy for the police, and they put him in this ridiculous traffic cop outfit, which I believe is actually on the let me see if it's on the cover of the first. Yeah, so if you see on the top there, I don't know if it's quite small on the Blu-ray, but it's poking fun at the fact that in the first movie he was doing this kind of TV advert as the police cop, as the kind of the traffic officer, which is just like a kind of a caricature. Got it. It's like a caricature. That's the damn word. I'm so happy I got that. I'll leave all that in for free. Sorry. So he kind of becomes a caricature in that advert, and then in the second film he becomes that, and actually is a traffic cop. And we have his girlfriend May, again played by Maggie Chang, who returns for the film, and she's great as always. And in the credits, actually, you see that she did the stunt and split her head open, which is just like, oh my god, And actually, this seems to be the film in which the stunt crew just continually split their head open. There's a bit where Jackie's head is bust open. There's a guy who falls out of a window and cracks the back of his head on the floor, and he's got blood pouring out. It's just, it's really grim stuff. They really go all out for these films, and we follow him kind of trying to adjust to this kind of quieter lifestyle, and then he keeps his kind of demons come back to haunt him, and the people who he put down in the first film are kind of out for him again, or maybe not. Bit of a mystery there. Then there's this new crew who are coming in, and there's this whole kind of subsection of bad guys who use these kind of fireworks, which is a bit hokey to me. There's one guy who's supposed to be deaf mute, and I'm not sure if he was just pretending to get away with being a bad guy. He uses a remote control car to kind of blow up whoever comes in his way, but it just kind of fizzles like a party popper. So I don't know if it was supposed to be really threatening, but it's kind of more goofy and oh, okay. Although there is a sequence where Jackie gets captured and he's strung up and tortured. They throw, those things you could buy when you're a kid, where you little ball and you throw him on the floor and it pops like a little crackle thing. I don't know what you call them. They're throwing these at his face and all. And in the outtakes again, you see him get kind of hit in the face with it. So the actual kind of bad guys in the film were a bit weird, I think, but and overall I think I much prefer the first film. And there is a point where Jackie he resigns from the police force, and of course they need to get him back because he's the man with all the ideas, and he's a very good police officer and in a way a detective, and knows where to look for things and has the right answers to follow certain leads. But really you're here for the action scenes, but I did think the story was pretty well done in the film, and the relationship between Jackie and May was really well played out, where she's getting really frustrated with what's happening, and she wants him to not be a police officer, but at the same time it's what he does best. So there is this I love the kind of relationship as it progresses in this film. I only wish that the third film was I'm not even sure if it is a part of the same story. I know that she's not in it from what I understand. But obviously there's some sort of rights issue where they couldn't be included in the box set with the Eureka release, which is just the first two movies. I think there's been 6 overall, but they kind of keep rebooting the character. But anyway, just having these two in one box set, where it is this kind of 1-2 story, I really like that, because it feels like, it doesn't feel like, because it is the same story and the same characters, just continued slightly, and I really like that. But I do think the first film is far superior, probably in the story and even in the action, but there are some incredible action scenes, and there's some fight scenes that are kind of breathtaking. The middle of the movie fight sequence in the playground is one of the best action fight scenes I've ever seen in a film. It is unbelievable, and there's nothing too fancy going on. It's just Jackie Chan using the kind of apparatus around him, but also they've got these metal bars that they're using, and it's just the hand-to-hand combat is so fast, so quick, so fluid, and you're seeing everything, and you're feeling everything. It's just a masterclass in how to do a fight scene in a movie. It's just unbelievable. I had to go back and watch it again, and then show it to Connie. It was just mind-blowing. And then the final scene takes place in this big kind of factory, and there's these fireworks involved, and they blow up the entire warehouse, which is unbelievable. The shot of him running away as this full huge warehouse explodes is quite incredible. And there's some really great action in the fight scenes at the end, but it doesn't quite capture the kind of mayhem and carnage of the end of the first film. And maybe that's a good thing. You don't want him to be continually killing himself, or his stunt crew, who again seemed to get very, very injured during the course of making this movie. But, I think that there weren't as many scenes in this the first film is so great because it has those great action scenes, it has a good story, but also it has these kind of non-action-y scenes that have the impressive Jackie Chan physical element to them, like the phone call sequence in the first film where he's holding all the phones and things like that, and even dialogue interplay that's really funny. There is some of that in Police Story 2, but not as much. And there is funny kind of other scenes as well, but then they're not quite to the level of the first film. And you really do, but again, it's one of the things if you're judging an action film on, is it as good as Police Story, which is one of the best action films ever made, it's it could be amazing and it could still not be as good as Police Story. So I think this is a really solid, almost great action film that is so well worth watching, and a great companion piece to the first film. But I still think the first film is by far the masterpiece of the series. Again, I've only seen 2 of them, but I can't imagine that the other movies that were made after this come anywhere close to the first film. But I did really enjoy Police Story 2, and there's probably a few things I've forgotten. I watched it a couple of weeks ago now, but just really, really good stuff. And again, I really did like the story and the idea of him trying to turn his back on what really he was almost made to do. And so, yeah, there's a fun sequence where he goes in to a bar to meet a guy about some explosives. He's wearing a fake mustache. I mean, it has the kind of hallmarks of Jackie Chan's, comedic style. But, again, it's hard to judge when the first film is so incredibly great. Even when you're not reaching that, you can still be pretty damn good. And I think Police Story 2 is still pretty damn good. So, and the Blu-ray looked fantastic. This box set is just incredible. I haven't even begun to dig into all the special features and stuff. I mainly just watched the extra outtakes and things, but I'll leave it there, I think, for the Police Story movies. If I was to recommend one, it would absolutely be the first one. And while I've been filming these videos and talking about these 2 movies in particular, Criterion have announced that they're releasing these 2 movies in a Criterion Collection Blu-ray set, which is awesome. I think Edgar Wright has kind of come out and said he's recorded something for it, so I might have to double dip on that one. But regardless, this is a fantastic box set of two great action films, the first of which I think is probably one of the best action films of all time. So that's it for those films. More to come. There really is more to come. I'm excited to kind of look at more Jackie Chan films, but I do think that with Police Story 1 and 2 and with Project A, I've kind of watched his best stuff. So it's all going to be downhill from here. And I recently watched City Hunter, which I don't know where I'm slotting it in with the chronology of these videos. It might be the next one, actually. Yeah, nowhere near as good as Police Story. So it's one of those things that, you know, it's hard when you're watching films for the first time to know how to kind of, you know, start with the ones that aren't as good and end on the best ones. So this is, as far as like going from some of his okay films to his best ones and then to some that aren't very good, it's impossible for me to really kind of gauge that. But it's fun either way. And regardless, I'm happy to just seen and become a fan of these 4 movies in particular over the past year or so. I think they're absolutely phenomenal, and I'm now, I think, a huge certifiable Jackie Chan fan. So on with the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.